A homeowner got three options from a roofer: a minor repair, a roof coat, and a full replacement. They went with the repair, the cheapest option on the list. 6 months later, they called back. The repair had failed, the damage had spread, and now they needed the full replacement anyway, except it cost them significantly more than it would have the first time. If this happens with you as well, I want you to know that you didn't do anything wrong technically, but here is one question I want you to sit with. Did the homeowner make a wise decision, or did they make the only decision your estimate allowed them to make? Because here is what I keep seeing with roofing contractors. The problem isn't that the homeowners always go with the cheapest bid. The problem is they go with the cheapest option you give them even when they are already working with you. They trust you enough to hire you, but somewhere between the trust and the estimate, they stop thinking about the value and start thinking about the price alone. And I want to show you exactly why your estimates get ignored, or people just go with the cheapest option you have, and more importantly, where the fix actually lives. But before we get into that, I am Muhammad Faiz. I help roofers build brands that make them irreplaceable for their people, and what I am about to show you isn't a sales technique, it's something deeper, and it is already inside your business. Most roofers come to me and say people always go with the cheapest option, and I understand why it feels that way, but I want to challenge that diagnosis. Because in most cases, the homeowner isn't choosing the cheapest bid between you and three other roofers. They are choosing the cheapest option within your own estimate. They already decided to work with you, but then something happens when they read what you sent them and they stop thinking about what's right for their home and start thinking about what hurts least right now. That's the difference between price and cost. Price is what they pay today, cost is what they pay over time. A minor repair might be $800 today, but if it fails in 6 months and opens up damage that spreads, the cost of that decision is 3 or 4 times higher. The homeowner doesn't see that, not because they are not smart, but because your estimate never showed it to them. And this is where I want to ask you something honestly. When was the last time you looked at your estimate the way a homeowner does? Someone who has dealt with contractors their whole life and has been trained to see every quote as just a price comparison, because that's the lens they bring. And if your estimate is full of text, specs, warranties, and line items, their brain is doing one thing while they read it, scanning for the number at the bottom. So they can scan for the number, look for the cheapest option available within your estimate and decide to go with that. Or worse, if you have only one solution listed, you get ignored. Now here is what I want you to understand. This isn't a problem you fix with a better sales script or a closing technique. The fix is in something most roofers never think about, and I saw it clearly when I started working with contractors. I am working with a roofing contractor, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Muhammad, people just choose the cheapest option. Every time I give them 3 solutions and they always pick the cheapest one, even when it is clearly not the right one for their situation." Now before we got into that conversation, he and I had already spent time together figuring out the fundamentals of his brand, like why does he do this work, what does he actually stand for, and what is the purpose behind his brand. And what we discovered is that he operates with one core belief, that homeowners deserve clarity before they commit to anything. That's his North Star, clarity before commitment. So when he came to me with the estimate problem, I asked him, "Show me your estimate," and he shared it with me. It was a standard roofing estimate, multiple pages, full of text, warranties, materials, details, coverage explanations, and all of that. Everything a roofer thinks of a homeowner needs to know. And I said, "Your purpose is clarity before commitment, but does this estimate give anyone clarity, or does it give them information they don't know how to process and leave them defaulting to one thing they do understand, which is price?" He went quiet, and then I asked him, "What would clarity actually look like in this document? What would it mean for a homeowner to read this and genuinely understand what they are choosing and what they are giving up?" And his own purpose gave him the answer. We concluded that if he could show each option side by side with clear benefits and clear trade-offs in a way they could actually compare, that would be clarity. So that's what he built. Instead of pages of text, a clean visual layout, 3 options in 3 columns, and for each option a simple breakdown of what you get, what you don't get, and what this decision means for your home over time, with ticks and crosses in simple language without any jargon. Now what changed on the back end is everything. The homeowner is no longer scanning for the cheapest number, they are reading across the columns, comparing what they gain and what they give up. They are thinking about their roof, not about the price. You shifted the entire psychological frame of that conversation, and you did it before you even sat down with them. They are thinking about their roof, not about the price, and you shifted the entire psychological frame of that conversation, and you did it before you even sat down with them. Now see how all of this happened. His purpose didn't just give him a mission statement, it gave him the answer to a sales problem that most roofers spend years trying to fix with techniques, scripts, and expensive coaching. That's what a brand that operates with a purpose actually does. Now, if you have understood this correctly, I am not telling you to copy his estimate or just change how you do estimates without having any context about how you want your brand to operate, because his purpose is not your purpose, and if you copy the format without the meaning behind it, it won't work. So let me show you how to think about this for your own business to ensure every homeowner you work with gets the best value from your estimate and ultimately from your brand. Every roofing company has a different reason for existing, and your estimate, your sales process should reflect yours. Not what the industry does, not what your competitor does, yours specifically. If your purpose is about protecting families and giving them complete peace of mind, your estimate isn't a price document, it becomes something like a protection plan. Each option is framed around what it protects against. What happens in 10 years? What happens if something goes wrong? The homeowner stops comparing prices and starts thinking about their family's safety. That's a completely different conversation. If your purpose is sustainability, maybe your estimate shows the energy impact of each option, the lifespan, the reduction in their utility bills, the long-term environmental benefit. Now the homeowner isn't choosing between 3 price points, they are choosing between 3 levels of impact on their home and their future. You see what's happening across all of these? The estimate stops being a transaction and starts being an experience, and that experience is designed for your purpose, the thing that makes you different from every other roofer who showed up before you with a clipboard and a number at the bottom. This is what branding actually means. It's not your logo, it's not your colors, it's not even your tagline, it's how your purpose shows up in every single touch point, including the documents you have been sending out for years without thinking about what they are actually communicating to the person on the other side. Today, we only looked at one touch point, the estimate, but here is what I want you to think about between now and the next video. If your purpose isn't up in your estimate, where else is it missing? Because I promise you, the estimate is just the beginning. Your entire sales process, the follow-up, the closing, the conversation, the channels that you use to reach people, every single of these is either building trust or losing it. And if you start to operate like a purpose-led brand, your own brain will come up with all the answers that make you unique to your customers. If you are watching this and don't know where your brand currently stands, the link to my brand audit session is in the description of this video. See if there's an available slot and I'll see you on the other side. But if you are not there yet, subscribe to this channel because I am going to show you how everything you do in a business is eventually connected to your brand. Because the most powerful thing in your roofing business isn't your ads, your sales script, or your follow-up sequence, it is your brand. See you in the next one.